Hello, I'm Miss Davidson. I'll be teaching your college algebra this semester. So I'm going to show you how to navigate around the Moodle course. So Moodle has a new look. So we have some information here, and you can drop down. That's just a little information about me. Here's information about your calculator. Now you can purchase TI Inspire CX2. If you have the CAS version, it costs more. It's not really going to help you anymore in the class. That's fine. But the CX2 is the cheapest one. I actually have one. Most of the ones I've seen they're blue. Okay, and it's not like an 84. It says Inspire up there. Let me turn this on. Oh, it needs to charge. It says Inspire right across the top. Okay. They do have chargers while I'm thinking of it. Please don't lose that. But if you ever lose your charger, you can get one on Amazon fairly cheap. Mine generally the battery runs down pretty low fairly quick, so just be careful with that. Other students tell me they don't have issues with that. All right, and they run generally, you're looking around 165 for those right now. You can go like to Walmart, Target, Office Depot. If you go online and purchase one, like from Amazon, something like that, you shouldn't be paying $200. That's too much. If you're unsure if you're getting the right one, you can text me and send me a picture and ask me if it's the right one. If you happen to be on the Natchitoches or Leesville campus, they have them in the library and you can check them out for 4 hours at a time, but you do have to check them back in. You can't keep them overnight or over the weekend. That's the only disadvantage. Now, the other option is you can purchase an online version one. I will let you use this on your exam. So when I send the proctors the proctoring information, they will know that you're able to use this. So this is a link right here, as you can see on the screen. And when you click on it, it's going to open this up and it's $27.50 plus tax. And then what happens is they send you a link in your email. I would recommend that you use your Northwestern email and then save that email from them so you have access to it later. Okay, and then you could open it up during, a test or homework or whatnot. Then there are some settings that need to be changed on that calculator. It just talks you through it. Um, you need to change your float and it goes through the process here. I'm not sure how it works on the online version. I know, like in my classrooms, it defaults to float 6. It needs to be on float with no number after it. That has to do with how many decimal places it gives you. So you do want to change the settings on your calculator. And if you're doing the online version, like use it, close it out, and then when you log back in, see if it keeps it on the float with no number or if it pulls it back up. All right, I don't have any information in student tutoring. I will get that in. We do have a program. They started it last year. It's called Flame, and I'll have the link in there to Northwestern. So you can go into different subject areas. It's not just for math, and some of the instructors, like on main campus, will actually be in a building, the library or lab or so forth, depending on what subject area it is. I do have Flame hours. They're going to be on Tuesdays from 12 to 2. Mine's going to be virtual, so I'll just be sitting on a Teams meeting, and my Flame hours will actually just have a link you can click, and it'll pull you into the meeting. But you don't have to get math tutoring from me. If you need to, you can get it from somebody else. So there may be some virtual links in there. Like I said, not just for math, but for some other subject areas. And also, I believe like the Student Success Center, and I'll get that information put in here in this area too, that you can actually schedule online tutoring sessions with students. It just depends on how many math tutors are available. Now, with you being in an online class, if you're not able to come during my flame hours, or I have office hours on Thursday during the day, you'll see in the syllabus, it'll say Leesville. That's my main work area. So there, I'm pretty much just in my office. I can meet with you. But if it's a different day or time, it just depends. You can say, hey, can you meet with me on Friday? And I'll say, hey, this is good hours for me. What are good hours for you? That type of thing. I generally don't get a whole lot of questions throughout the course. And sometimes students, I'll ask them, hey, just text me the question, text me a picture of your calculator, and then I may write something up real quick and send a text back, and usually that works. All right, so let's go to proctoring. So to make your life easier, these are links. These are to all the different campuses. Now, your proctoring options are if you're near a campus. Now we have a campuses in, let me make this a little bit bigger. So you can see we have Natchitoches, we have Alexandria, it's at the airport. Leesville, it's at our Leesville campus. Shreveport, and Barksdale Air Force Base. And we have a very small campus in Marksville if you happen to be in that area. So any of these NSU campuses, there's no fee for testing. You just have to schedule. I'm going to pull up. Each of the proctor forms is slightly different. So like this is Leesville. Our secretary only proctors 8:30 or 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday and only 8:30 on Fridays because it's only half a day on Fridays. I think Shreveport, that's nursing. All right, you click that, and then there's the proctor request form. Okay, so they have different hours than what we do. So I think there's looks like it's a little more flexible as far as what times they proctor. So they generally most of these campuses are not proctoring in the evening. I don't know about the Natchitoches campus, so that's just going to depend on where you are. Let's go back. Now, if you're not able to get to a campus, you can use ProctorU. ProctorU does charge a fee. You need to have a computer with a has a webcam built in, or and also has a speakerphone or microphone enabled. You can't use a Chromebook with ProctorU. I can tell you that right offhand. But if you are going to have to use ProctorU, I would recommend you go in, create an account, and they will let you test your equipment and see if it works. And do that before you're ready to take a test. Like the first week or two of school, if you're going to use ProctorU, go ahead and get signed up, get everything checked, make sure everything works. And when you go to take a test with ProctorU, if the test closes at 11:59 and you have an hour and 15 minutes to do it, but you don't log in till 11, you may not start the test till 11:30. It just depends on how long it takes to go through they have like pre-flight checks and whatnot. So that first time you take an exam, don't try and schedule it at the very last hour to get it done. Also with ProctorU, if you wait to the very last day in the evening, you may not have a proctor available. You can schedule out ahead of time. Um, and like I said, there's a fee associated with that, and they can tell you what the fee scale is. Now, to make life a little bit easier, I used to have tests due on Sundays. I still have homework due on Sundays, but exams I have due on Mondays. That way, if you have to go to a physical campus, you still have a little more time. It's just a little more friendly. If you are not, now, if you are near a university or college that has a testing center, most of them have testing centers. You have to call and see whether or not they do testing for other schools. Usually the fee is not as much as it is with Proctor. You need to let me know like within the first couple weeks of the course starting where you're going to test at. Now, if you're a dual enrollment and it's at a different location, like with a high school counselor or something, we do have a list of ones that are approved for that. But you do need to reach out to me within the first couple of weeks and let me know. Don't wait till the day of the test and say, hey, I'm testing here with so and so, and that's just not going to work out. Okay. All right. Um, else? All right. So week one, our courses are set up a little bit different. So let's look at the course documents. You'll be watching this video, read through the course documents. So this is all you have to do for week one. You can go ahead and start working. If you need access to the academic calendar for the semester, It's in there. Students sometimes can't find it, so I do have it located in the course documents. Um, we have university policies. You can read through those. There is one we do need to be aware of. All right, so this is the ADA statement. If you have modifications, most of the time students have extended time. You need to get with disability services. They will send us a letter letting us know what your modifications are. If you have a letter coming, it's always good to let your instructors know. Generally, they send that letter to the student and all the instructors, but it would always be good to follow up and say, hey, did you get my letter? And so forth. It's only good for one semester. We cannot give you modifications until we actually get the letter. And then each semester you have to request it again. Okay, so it's not just for your whole stay at Northwestern. You need to have it renewed each semester. We cannot ask you what your disability is. If you choose to share it, that's up to you. If you don't, it's irrelevant. As far as, I'm going to make sure you get your modifications, they're in place, but it's always good to say, hey, I got a letter, can you kind of double check things and whatnot? So, academic dishonesty, you need to be doing your own work. Sexual harassment, even though we are online, if you feel like you're being sexually harassed, whether it's in class or online, you can report it here. Um, you can read through all this social media stuff. Classroom civility, it's not going to be an issue online. Just, when you email your instructors, just try to be nice. Hey, I'm really confused. I'm frustrated. Just be aware of that. Um, okay, then we have some mental health facilities. If you feel like you need some counseling or you're just struggling with something, that information's here. Or you can reach out to any of your instructors, your professors, and say, hey, I'm having a hard time just coping, and we can refer you to somebody to get you some assistance with that. Class attendance, you need to be working in the class every week. If you work ahead, it's not a big deal. I generally don't have too many people that work ahead, maybe one or two. It's not a big deal. But if you know you're going to be out for a couple of weeks, then you need to go ahead and work ahead if it's something that is planned that you're aware of. I think that, yeah. All right, assignment due date, 10/20 syllabus. This is the departmental syllabus. It's really boring. Nobody wants to read that, but you're welcome to read through it. We have the assignment due date. There you go. All right. So you can print this up, you can not print it up. It's up to you. It should be, yeah, it's just one sheet. It would be handy as a reference. These dates should match in my math lab. That doesn't mean there's not an error. It's going to happen. So like this first week of school here, you just need to go through, read the course documents, register for my math lab. You shouldn't be using a temporary access. I'm going to upload a document that tells you how to get out of the temporary access. Basically, you have this, I think it's include ed, have something about opting in, opting out. Don't opt out, because what it is with the opt in, we charge you for my math lab, which is significantly cheaper than if you were to pay out of pocket. So you need to make sure that you're opted in. Even if you accidentally get on a temporary access for 14 days, it's not the end of the world. You can still work in there. And then when we get the situation resolved, get the access upgraded to a full access, then it just keeps everything. It doesn't lose anything that you've done, so you don't have to worry about that. So then for week 2, the week of August 26th, you'll have 2 homework assignments that are going to be due this Sunday. So homeworks are due on Sundays. The exams I have set for a Monday. Again, just in case you have to test on campus, you get that little bit of extra time that somebody with ProctorU would have. And it also helps with the backlog. Sunday nights are especially bad for ProctorU. They're really, really busy. So getting an on-demand proctor with ProctorU at the last minute, it can be difficult sometimes. And with that being said, even though the test is due on Monday, if you don't schedule ahead of time with Proctor U and you try to get an on-demand tutor and they don't have one available, then you miss the exam. That's not a reason to miss the exam. And they also charge you more if you don't schedule, a couple days out with them. Okay. And I think you can maybe change the date or the time if you had to. I would just check with them. So exam 1, 2 are proctored. Exam 3 is not proctored. That means you'll do it on your own. You don't have to have a proctor. There's not going to be a password on it. All right. Exam 4 is proctored, and the final exam is proctored. And yeah. Okay. So your final exam is due by December the 10th. This also covers anybody that might be graduating this semester, so don't worry about that. Thanksgiving break, we have the whole week off. I don't have anything due that week. If you want to work ahead, you're more than welcome to. We have a fall break. It's October 7th and 8th, but we still have classes the rest of the week, so I still have stuff due that week. All right, so that's a nice little guide. And I'm actually going to pause this because I don't know where my syllabus went. And then the screen changed. I don't know why I didn't have this uploaded. I did have it ready. All right, so this is course administration. This essentially is my syllabus. Again, I'm housed in Leesville. Those are the hours that I have office hours. T is Tuesdays, R is Thursdays. And again, if you need to schedule to meet some other time, it's just email me, especially like Thursdays, I'm there for a good 5 hours and I don't have any classes. And if that's a good time, say, hey, can we meet at 10? And I can just send you a link that we can meet. So you can read through all of this. You don't actually need a textbook because in my math lab, you have access to an ebook. Students, I don't find that students use it. We went over the requirements for the calculator. Attendance. You need communications, email me. You do have my cell phone number. I actually put it up here. Let me just scroll so fast. That's my cell phone number. We have office phone numbers. It's supposed to be going to Microsoft Teams. So I guess I'll find out in a couple of days how that's working because that's something new for us. But just text me again. I may tell you to text me if you email me a question. All right, communication. The grading policy is a 10 point scale. Your homework's 200 points of your grade, and your tests are for 600 points of your grade. So I believe 1/4 of your grade is on your homework, 3/4 or 75% of your grade is based on your exams. Your grades are updated in Moodle weekly. They're actually updated daily. My math lab will automatically sync the grades in every day. So if you complete an assignment and you don't see it in Moodle immediately, wait till the next day because it syncs it in once a day. Okay. And I do go through and look and make sure that the grades are being pulled in, that they're being pulled in correctly. I've not had an issue with it, but I do like to go through and double check that. All right. Please don't ask me if you're going to be able to pass the class. Again, your grade will be up to date, especially towards the end of the semester. Your grade is going to be pretty steady where it is. It's not going to change much with the final exam. All right, late work will not be accepted. Now, there are some extenuating circumstances. Sometimes, the weather here is crazy. We just don't know what's going to happen. We'll just have to wait and see, and we'll go with that. If we have major power outages, just remember if you don't have access to the internet, there's a good chance I may not have access to it either. I actually live just north of Alexandria, Louisiana. So then I work way over in Leesville. So just remember that, I may be experiencing those issues too. I generally don't have issues with the internet going out here unless it rains a little bit too much. All right. And you're expected to know the due dates. If they were to change, everything should be correct in my math lab. I'll go through this week and I'll be double checking due dates to make sure everything's correct. But follow that sheet that I had. Being an online course, you're expected to have access to a computer and to the internet. You also need to have a backup plan. You cannot do your homework on a phone. Students have tried, it creates an issue. If you're trying to use an iPad, you could probably do it for your homework. It's not ideal. You would need to download Chrome. And that's another thing. If you're on a MacBook or even any other PC, you need to have Chrome. It operates best in Chrome. My math lab does not like Safari. It's not a big fan of Edge. Firefox or Chrome are your two best bets. But MacBooks especially, you're going to need to download Chrome. That doesn't cost you anything. My math lab assignments, and we'll look at those. They're already set up and everything's open. Homework questions, if you've not used my math lab, you don't have to do all the homework questions at once. You can do 3 or 4, come back and finish it. And if you need to rework a problem to get a better score, or if you just need extra practice with it, you can do that. And I'll show you that in there. And you don't have to do them in order on the homework assignment. You can jump around. So say you're stuck on one, you jump to the next, and you're like, hey, I didn't understand question 2 on this homework and did well with everything else. That's always good to just kind of skip around. I don't want you to be like, oh, I got to stop because I don't understand this one question. Maybe that may just be the only one you don't understand. You can go ahead and work ahead. Exam reviews, they're as a homework, they are for bonus points. If you get a 90% or higher, you get 5 bonus points. I have to put that in a separate category in Moodle. It won't pull it in as extra credit. I have to manually put those grades in. So around the time an exam is due, and I go through my math lab, 2 or 3 days a week and look at all the different classes and see if you take an exam early or if you finished a review early, I'll catch it and put it in. But the thing here is, and I always have 1 or 2 that are like, I did the review and you didn't give me the bonus points. The exam reviews are not for you to get bonus points. The exam reviews are for you to study for the exam so you can do well in the exam. Therefore, it doesn't make sense for you to do the review after the exam. I can tell when you took the exam and I can tell when you finished the review. So, so there's 2 things you got to remember here. If you do it after the exam and you think you're going to get the bonus points because your exam score was bad, you're not. If you do the review before the exam and you get 90% or higher, and then you take the exam, do not go back and open the exam review because it will look like on my end that you worked on it after the exam. Okay. And this is wrong. I don't know. I will get this fixed. You're gonna proctor you or something. Must have missed that when I was editing this. All right. Makeup policy. You can miss 1 exam. So say you miss exam 2. I don't know why. Okay. You miss exam 2. I have to put a 0 in. That's what they want us to do. So that's going to pull your grade down a lot because your grade's heavily weighted on your exams. You won't get a replacement grade in there until you take your final exam. So what happens is, say you missed exam 2, put a 0 in, your grade's going to fall down really low. You kind of have to keep that in mind when you're looking at your average. I would say look at your other exam scores, and that's a more accurate picture of what your grade is in the class. So like if you have a 70 and an 80 on 2 other exams and you have 1 exam you missed, your average is probably running around a 75 in reality, but that 0 is going to pull it down quite a bit. So when you go to take the final exam, after you finish that, there's going to be a 10% late penalty that will be applied. So if you get a 95 on the final, you will get an 85 on exam 2. Then I will, at the end of the semester, go back and put that in. Okay. That's 1 exam. That's, you forgot, you were sick. If you are sick or something went on and you have an excuse, just email it to me. Even if that's the only exam you miss, because if you miss more than 1 exam, you're going to have excuses for all of them. Now, I have had instances where students have contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm not feeling well. I don't think I can I think I'm going to do bad on the exam. Can I have an extra day? And I'm going to tell you no. But I'm also going to let you know that you have an option. You're sick. Do you feel like you're going to do better on the final exam, or you're going to do so poorly on this exam being sick? It might be worth it to take the 0 and then just wait till the end of the semester. Now, I don't mind saying, hey, how does this affect in my grade? What do you think towards the end? I don't mind giving you a little feedback on that. But I have had students say, I think I'm just going to skip it because I do feel so bad. Now, if you're in the hospital for an extended period of time, having the flu for a day or two is different than you're having major surgery, you're giving birth, um, you're hospitalized for a while for whatever reason. Again, you don't have to tell me why, but no matter what it is, you're going to get some kind of doctor's note saying how long you were there and when you're released to school and work. Okay. So again, always get that documentation just in case and email it to me. Inclement weather, we kind of covered that. We'll just see how it goes. It's crazy weather here. All right, cheating, even though you're doing this at home, cheating on the homework's not going to do anything for you. You can get 100% on all the homeworks, and if you fail all the exams, you're going to fail the class. I have it set up like that. So you need to be doing the homework, and I'll go over that. We went over the university policies, and then I have all your due dates in here. This is the wrong. Okay, you already have due dates. I must have saved it wrong. I will go back and put the right syllabus in here, but the point breakdown is the same. Oh, right. So let's go through. I do like the new look of Moodle. So my math lab, you're going to register here. You can actually register with any of the links that are in here. A couple of you have gotten in already and you're on a temporary access. Again, I'm going to put in a document that tells you how to upgrade that access. You shouldn't be opting out. You'll get something that'll say like get started or go through some type of registration process. If you already have a Pearson account, you can log in there. If you don't, you can create one if you forgot your Pearson information. As long as it's not tied to your NSU email, you can just create a new one. And then once you do that and you come back and you go through here again, it'll say open. Well, once you get into the course, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. You won't have these ones with the crosses in them. Those are mine. I can only see those. So you have course home, which is here. Students like to use this. Assignments are right here. Everything is in order that you're going to do it. And again, I'm going to go through and double check the due dates. In student grade book. So student grade book, you would use this after the assignments close, or even like this one's not closed, but I was just in there. You can click on review and it says you will work, but it won't change your score here. Okay. Now the exams are set. So say this one closes on 9/16. You can see what your score is, but you can't look at that exam until the 17th. Okay. So if you want to review it, you have to wait till it closes. If you finish it before the 16th, you still have to wait till the 17th to look at it. And then you would go into student grade book here in my math lab, and then you can click review from there. So when you guys do the exams, so here, let's see, you can't accidentally get in this if it's proctored, okay? When you finish an exam, you get a score. I go through and I look at your answers the next day to see if I can give any partial credit back. Like sometimes, like the plus and equal sign, I know are the same key. So sometimes students forget to push shift when they're using that, and I can usually tell. Sometimes we put a comma instead of a decimal. That is a common error. We put a decimal instead of a comma when we're doing an ordered pair. We forget parentheses, or we put parentheses when we're not supposed to have them. Rounding errors. So I look for things like that. generally students earn a little bit of partial credit back. And after I grade it, there's a little asterisk next to your grade and it will update in Moodle within 24 hours. But I do go back and look at those after they're finished. So you don't have to email me and say, hey, I missed this and I rounded wrong. Can you look at it? I will look at everybody's test. That's something I do. You don't have to worry about that. So if you not use my math lab, let's go through here. So this is a homework, 1.1. It only has 10 questions. Is this one? Let me make this bigger. Is it a function? Like, okay. Okay, it's incorrect. So I can skip to the next question. You see over here, I made this bigger just for this purpose here. I've done this question and I got it wrong. So if you want, you can bottom right here, you can click on similar question. Final check. And I got it right. So then my percentage changed to 10%. So it's 10% correct. So I've got one of the 10 right. So let's do, let me get an easier one. This one. So I'll put, all right. So I got that one right, that one wrong. The ones that are blank, I haven't done. You can just close this out. It will save whatever you've done. As long as you move to the next question, it saves it as you go along. So if your power goes out and you've done 9 of the 10 problems, it's not going to disappear. It's going to save as you move to the next question. But say I got 6 right, but I want to practice again, I can click on similar question. So it's not a function. Final check. I go to 7, I got it wrong. I click similar question. I can click and then I get it right. So my percentage on this homework's up to 20%. And again, you can jump around. They don't have to be done in order. There's a save button on here somewhere. I just close them out. Okay. And you can see you've done those two. You can click resume or you can just hit a question. I'm going to show you how to get to the textbook. Like I said, most students don't use it. All right, there's a couple of things down here. There's help me solve this. It'll kind of guide you through it. They may or may not do it the same way I do it. You don't get credit for the question. View an example. This is what I use for my notes, and I'm going to show you what those are. So you click continue. I think it's a little wordy in my opinion, but if you like it, it's more power to you. There's ask my instructor. It sends me an email and it sends me a link to the question. If you send me an email with a link to the question and you don't put any kind of message in there, you know. Now with homework, if you get it wrong and you round it incorrectly, then I'm not going to go back and give you points for that because you can do this as many times as you want. And then textbook, this actually takes you directly, this is section 1.1. Just give it a second. It'll take you directly to section 1.1 of the textbook. If for some reason, I'm just scrolling through, you wanted to look at the textbook. Okay. But they have that in every section. Let's get out of here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This little button. Right. And this just gives you, this just instead of using the side menu, it'll pull it down. You can see I got 6 and 7 right, 5 I missed. Leave to assignments. Again, the test and the homework, let me pull up the homework. The test reviews 20 questions. That means there's 20 questions on the test. So let's click on number 2. And again, the reviews like the homework, you don't have to do it all at once. So on your test, you're going to get a problem that's similar to this. On your test, you're going to have a problem that's similar to this, just probably different numbers. Sorry, didn't have that on silent. So these are the type of questions that you're going to see on your test. They're just going to be scrambled on your test. They're going to be in a different order. There's a review for every exam. So again, exam 3 is not proctored. You see you have 75 minutes for the exams. Your final exam, you have 150 minutes. Most students on average take about 40 minutes. to do an exam, it depends on how long ago you graduated from high school. If you just graduated and you're feeling pretty confident, students don't take more than 30 minutes on a test, so the final. Um, the more non-traditional students, they're going to take closer to 45 minutes to 50 minutes to do an exam. All right, so let's look at exam 3. This is the one that's not proctored. So now I haven't even started it, okay? It says exam 3, 20 questions. That means the review had 20 questions. You're not going to see, and everybody has different versions of the questions on the test. I'm not showing you anything you're not going to see on the review. So I do have the timer running. You see down here at the bottom, you have an hour, 14 minutes, and 48 seconds. So it does let you know how much time you have left. The only time I think this won't apply is if you're really close to the cutoff time. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I've not stayed up till midnight to see what that timer looks like. But it's just like you would go through, you can see if you answered questions. All right, it's not going to tell you if you got it wrong or not. That's just showing me I completed it. Okay. Where is submit? Oh, okay. When you're done, it'll say you can submit. It'll say you have 19 unanswered. Okay, so you can drop this down if you want to see if you forgot to answer one. You would submit the test. I don't know if I got the, okay, apparently I only answered number 7 and I got it wrong. But this is what you'll see. But after the test closes again, it's due 10/28, so on 10/29. Um, All right, I'm not supposed to be able to review it, but those are settings I need to double check. But what this is, you see, here's the one I answered. This is actually good. So what this means I missed it with the little red up there. Um, so if you click on it, you can actually see what you put. So that's how I go through and grade it. Maybe someone forgot the square on the X. That's a common thing, or they don't have the negative or something. That's what I see. But again, you won't be able to review these until after. But you go to the student grade book is where you're going to be able to go to review your assignments. And I think that is about it. Again, all the proctors will have the passwords to the exams. But again, if you're using a different proctor, you need to get with me on that. All right. So week 1, this is all you have to do in week 1 is get registered for my math lab and I'll get that syllabus updated. All right. So week 2 comes along and I just have these 2 lectures up. I'm getting more uploaded this weekend. So you need to follow here. You have note guides. So if you're on an NSU campus, you have, I think it's like 1,000 free prints a semester. I would just go, if you're near a campus, and print up all the note guides for chapters 1 through 6. Okay. Or I've seen students use iPads because it is a PDF document. So this is all a chapter 1. So instead of you having to write the questions out for the lectures, I already have these. This is what I use in class. Students told me they love it. The pages are numbered. That was some feedback I got for a couple of years. So where the chapter 1 note guide leaves off at page 16, chapter 2 note guide will start on page 17. So that way things don't get out of order. Okay, so that was section 1. Section 1.2, this is all of chapter 1. Okay, so that's all of chapter 1. This is in week 2. So you're going to use that note guide for week 1 and week 2. Okay, so then you're going to go, after you print the note guide, you go to the lecture videos. These are yes, they are YouTube videos. They are my videos because it's easier for me to embed them in the course with YouTube, and then I just have an easy place to access them. So it says 1.1 and 1.2. These are just the note guides filled in. So it's just a straight up lecture. Students have told me they like it like this. I do show you how to use the calculator in the note guides wherever you can. Okay. So you print your note guides. You watch the lecture. I would do section 1.1 and then come do 1.1 homework. Now you can go back up here, any of these links. This takes you straight to the homework. Uh, they just said this is better to have it like that. So I'm gonna try it this semester and see how everybody likes it. I try to keep it clean and simple. And then week 3, I'll have more lecture videos, and we're just continuing the note guide from chapter 1. So I'm not putting it up here again because I've already printed it, and then so forth. But you are welcome to work ahead. Week 4, this is when the exam 1 is due. My brain gets lost for a second. This is when exam 1 is due, but you are welcome to take it early. So like if week 2 you're ready to take exam 1, you can go ahead and take it. Please make sure you do the review. So the review is linked here too. Go through that first. It pretty much tells you what's going to be on the exam. So the exams, except for the third one, which you're going to do on your own, you're allowed the calculator, whether it's the handheld or if it's the online version. You can have scratch paper, blank scratch paper. If you're in Proctor, you're going to have to show them every single piece of paper. You only may need like 2 or 3 sheets, whatever you need to write with. But you can't use unauthorized websites. That would be those math websites like Mathway and whatnot. But you will be able to use the online calculator if that's what you have. And they're going to ask you, I think Proctor U has you put your cell phone up. I'm not really sure. But they do, if you have a laptop, they'll have you scan your room. But like I said, if you're going to use Proctor, you go through their website and check what it is that make sure your computer is correct, that the system requirements are met, and then it'll go through how they're going to proctor you. Generally, you can't have anybody else in the room. I don't think they don't let you talk during an exam either. I know some people like to talk, read the questions. They don't let you talk. They'll tell you to stop talking. If there's an incident, they send me an incident report. I can actually go in and see the video. I really don't like to just sit and watch students take exams, but generally the only time I go in is if they send an incident report. Every once in a while, I might do a spot check on somebody, just kind of check and see. Or if a student tells me there was an issue. And with that being said, if there's ever an issue in Proctor U or with one of your proctors where they're not letting you use the online calculator, they will all have my cell phone number. Okay, so you just stop and say, hey, I need you to call my instructor. Okay. And of course, there's every week and the final exam information. And I'll get the due dates in here. Like I said, I was a little scared with them updating to a new version of Moodle. So I do spend the first couple weeks kind of fine tuning things to make sure if there's anything I missed. But they generally flow pretty smooth. Again, if you have any question, you can email me, you can text me. I get up really early. I get up during the school year, probably around 4:30. So I'm in bed like at 8:30. So if you text me in the evening, like after 8:30, after 9, you may not get a response the next morning. Generally, I turn my phone off when I go to bed. That way notifications don't ring through. So, if you're emailing me at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning or text me, don't worry about waking me up. You may not be worried about that. Don't worry about it. I'll have my phone on silent. I'll catch it in the morning. Depending on whether or not I have to go to Leesville, that will determine what time I'm able to get back to you. If you have any questions just about the course in general, please feel free to email me or shoot me a text. Again, that is in the syllabus, and I will get the right one in there. I don't know what happened with that. It'll just take me a few minutes.